guys, welcome. It's beer time, and we are at Bent Water Brewing in Lynne, Massachusetts. This is Adam Danny Glob, and with me also here is Ryan Nestor. He is Director of Sales, and we have the head brewer here. We have a couple brews that we're going to talk about today, Sluice Juice and Double Thunder Funk. So I'm excited to be here, guys. Last time we were in complete quarantine and sitting at home in our sweatpants, and I was excited to, for this day to come, to actually be able to travel and come to the brewery, check you guys out, and try some new beers.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah. Thanks for.
Great to finally meet you in person.
Yeah, I know, right? So the first beer you guys suggested was Sluice Juice, if I'm correct, right?
Yep. But this is our mainstay year-round New England IPA. It's hazy, it's hoppy, it's smooth, it's all those juicy, all the descriptors people like these days for New England IPAs. So it's one of my favorite beers that we make, and I really enjoy drinking them year-round. So.
Well, let's get after it.
Doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees or not.
Let's get after it. Oh, it is. It is 100 degrees.
Yeah, it's a hot one today.
It's got a beautiful color to it.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
First thing that I notice is you do get that IPA hit in the beginning, that bitterness, which is nice, and then that citrus flavor comes in after, which kind of mellows out that bitterness, which is in my opinion, that's kind of how I like my IPAs. I'm not a fan of the bitter lingering, so if there's a way that can smooth out in the end, then this is the way to go.
Yeah, we actually when we launch any brand, we usually do a bunch of small batches, and I think, Adam, we did 6 batches, Sluice Juice 1 through 6, and in the early go, it did have some of that bittering, sort of more of like a hop harsh taste in the end, but we definitely figured that out, and I like how this beer is very smooth on the back end, and one of the predominant hops is Motueka, which gives it almost like a lime zest at the end, which is there's a lot of New England IPAs on the market, but that's kind of what makes this a little bit unique, and it accounts for, this is our number one seller. It accounts for the majority of our sales.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it definitely focuses more on the citrus side of the hop aroma and flavor side of things rather than the tropical fruit. I mean, there definitely is some in there, but it definitely focuses more on that lime zest and the orange marmalade almost in there.
Yeah.
I think it makes it a little, like Ryan said, a little unique for what people are doing with IPAs.
Yeah, it's nice. It's definitely for summertime, and with the heat wave that we've been in for the last, I don't even know, it feels like forever. Like days seem to be melting.
I think we had a couple days where it was bearable, and then here we go again.
Yeah, it rained. And we're like, oh, thank God. Still not going outside. But yeah, no, this is great summer beer. Would love to have this. Good. I think I say this a lot, but we're in summer and we're drinking summer beer, so beach beer. Anything where you're outside picnicking, stuff like that, and you want something that is gonna pack with a lot of flavor. If you're that type of person that likes IPAs, that loves those juicy, flavorful, full flavors, front end stuff, and you're not afraid to have a couple of these. I mean, what's this ABV coming in at?
6.5.
Yeah,
6.5.
So it's right in that normal range of IPAs, but not super high.
And a lot of people will ask me, being a sales rep with Bentwater, like what's your favorite Bentwater, or what's your favorite beer or style of beer? And usually the easy answer is it's situational. And in the winter I like a nice stout or a porter, and in the summer a light lager or that sort of thing. But with Sluice Juice, it really can be a beach beer. It can be an après-ski beer. It's like you said, at 6.5%, it's sort of mid-range, and you can definitely have a couple of them. So
it's nice. It's nice. It's also it's funny because I have like certain beers too that I consider are cooking beers.
Yeah.
And when people think cooking beer is like, oh, you're going to be cooking with it, it's like, no, I want to cook and drink it.
Yeah.
You know, so
Really
it's like, it's, you know,
Yeah.
so this, like, to me, I could see, like, you know, yeah, if it is even wintertime, maybe you
Right.
are, maybe you have gotten a little bit like, okay, I just did like 3 stouts like this past week, you know,
Yeah.
and like, you know, let's have some like fish tonight, you know, or let's have
Yeah.
something a little lighter, and then, you know, cooking that in the kitchen and you can sip on one of these. So, Ryan, how did you get into the beer industry? I know we talked with Adam last time,
Yeah.
but we get to meet you now, and you're director of sales here.
Sure.
And what got you into
So,
selling beer here?
One of my good friends is one of the founders of the brewery, Chris Crawford, and you know, first and foremost, I love beer, and I have 20 years experience in selling, and Chris sort of asked me to come in and help out as far as sales, and I was working sort of part time, and before you know it, I was a full-blown sales rep, and my wife was pregnant with 2 twins. Well, with twins, not 2 twins. Not quadruplets. And thinking back, it was crazy that I took that leap of faith. But fast forward, we're in our 5th year, and we've grown to a couple different states now. We have reps sort of all over Massachusetts, and we have a rep up in New Hampshire, and we just launched in next week. We're launching in Rhode Island and Florida, so we've definitely grown.
That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, Sluice Juice, I can see really, I mean, Rhode Island, and then getting down into Florida,
Right.
That's I could see that being a solid market for Sluice Juice. For
Yeah,
sure.
we should hope so. I mean, they're really excited. The Florida market is excited to bring us in, and we're hoping with like a genuine, true New England IPA coming from New England, it's going to be a good opportunity for Bentwater to expand into that market.
Yeah, we're going to get into this double Thunder Funk. I think the last time we had spoken, I don't think we brought this up, but maybe it was after you guys are talking about how this is one of your more staples.
Yeah.
The Thunder Funk, just the IPA, just the standard. And then this one, you guys look like you're doubling down on it.
Yeah, so we almost call it like Thunder Funk's big brother, right?
Yeah, it kind of was a joke. We were just like, what would happen if we doubled all the ingredients in Thunder Funk? And obviously that's not exactly what we did, but we're like, it's higher alcohol, more hops.
Well, that's the funny thing is, like, people think when they go double IPA, they're like, okay, so it's going to be double the bitterness. It's going to be, and they have these ideas, and it's like, that's usually not the case ever when it comes to brewing.
Not really, no.
But it's kind of funny in this case that you kind of,
It was like, just a running joke.
let's just do it.
Yeah, and then we were like, let's just do it. And we did it on a small batch.
Well, the label's awesome. You got two silverbacks headbutting each other.
Yeah, you'll see the difference between Sluice Juice and Double Thunder Funk, and one of the things I love about our IPAs is they're very different. This is a much more sort of
Traditional.
Well, well, I mean, right off the bat, it's clear.
Oh yeah,
Tiger Orange.
Yeah, and it's.
nice and bright.
I kind of was like
right through.
watching the beer color and not paying attention to the pour there. But yeah,
Definitely.
it's just like it's a beautiful, like, light amber looking color, which you wouldn't with a double. You would think it'd be a little darker,
Yeah.
but cheers, guys.
It's got a nice ABV though. It's
yeah.
9.2%.
And you can't tell.
No, no, it's
I think
actually
that's the worst part about it.
It's more. It's got more of that. It's just an IPA
Yeah,
like taste to it. When you get into the doubles and triples, it's usually a little sweeter.
a little warmer.
Yeah, they're sweeter. That kind of lingers. That
Yeah.
like kind of sugary taste.
Oh, yeah.
From obviously trying to get that ABV up. But
Right.
this, like, you would not think this was 9.
No, yeah, so
9
that's
plus.
something when we were, really working on making this beer to be one of our, regularly produced beers, is I want it to be dry. So I do think that's like a signature kind of thing about that classic West Coast IPA.
Yeah.
It's dry, it's bitter,
Yes.
You know, it's got that resininess to it. So I wanted that to come through and not be overwhelmed by like the sweetness you were talking about.
Yep.
And at 9.2%, it's my go-to when my in-laws come over.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely, you know, the beer. If you want to throw back a few of these and you know, make sure you're home. Make sure you're home. But yeah, that's so. Now from sales side, where would you be? You know, you got this is just kind of this has become more of a staple here, right?
The Double Thunderfunk?
Yeah.
So I mean, we have our beers in tiers. Tier 1 is Sluice Juice, which we tried, Thunderfunk and Double Thunderfunk, and then our second tier of beers is we have a premium lager, Suborbital, which is a New England Pale Ale, and Equivalent Exchange, which is a double New England IPA. That's almost Sluice Juice's big brother, right? And then we have seasonals and whatnot. But these three beers, Sluice Juice, Thunderfunk, and Double Thunderfunk, are beers that we absolutely have in stock year round.
That's awesome.
And when we enter new markets, these are typically the beers
these are your cornerstones.
That's right.
That's awesome. Yeah, because we tried the premium lager last time in the Suborbital.
Yep.
The lager was great. I mean, it was exactly how you described it. This is actually more rounded than I expected. It doesn't lean actually towards the double at all.
I really like making
literally tastes like just an IPA.
Yeah. So it definitely, you know, it has that classic piney resonance to it. Got a little bit of that carameliness on the end that you'd see in a traditional IPA.
So I guess for our viewers, like, you know, West Coast style IPA versus, I guess, New England.
Yeah.
You know, what would you say, you know, biggest three differences are?
Generally, West Coast IPAs are drier. So I mean, it's not residual sweetness is lower. They're bitter. I mean, a lot of, you know, the New England IPAs have a lot of hops in them, but they don't tend to be bitter in the same way that a traditional West Coast. You know, like if you're drinking Sierra Nevada Torpedo, that is a very bitter beer. Yeah. And that's, you know, that's what IPAs started off as in America. So it's kind of a throwback, you know, to the traditional, what we were brewing before this New England IPA thing happened, you know, 10 years ago maybe at this point. I don't remember exactly when that started, you know, coming around, but it's the third one, if they're clear.
Right? Well, I found it funny how New England style IPAs, it's like, oh yeah, they're cloudy, and it's like, well, it's just unfiltered, right? Or,
this is unfiltered too.
Yeah, it's unfiltered, yeah.
So you guys are letting this settle, and then you're pulling from...
Yeah, so a lot of it has to do with the kind of malts you're putting into it. So, you know, Sluice Juice has wheat in it, has oats in it. This is basically just barley. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of discussion about what exactly the cloudiness is.
Yeah.
You know, it can be hop oils, it can be residual proteins from the malts, it can be, you know, in some cases, residual yeast that hasn't totally fallen out yet. But that tends to give you like a little bit of harshness in the back of your throat, which we get rid of by conditioning a little bit longer. But then with this beer, I mean, this is how I learned how to brew beer. It was like, you wanted your beer to be clear as possible, as bright as possible. So it's just designed to be more clear.
We're super excited that we just launched Bent Seltzer. It's a spiked seltzer. Our first flavor was a key lime, and we've gotten really good feedback and reviews on it. The reviews and the sell-through was so good that, you know, I called Adam on a Sunday night and said, hey, tomorrow are you gonna put some more seltzer in the tank? So it was something where, and you speak to the COVID, we got our yeast from New Zealand, and we were actually supposed to brew the seltzer a month and a half ago, right? And New Zealand completely shut down, so we couldn't get the ingredients. So we brewed our first batch of it, sold through, got some really good reviews, and we're working on putting another batch into the market. And then we're also, the portfolio advisory committee is working on different flavors and everything that we can launch. So we're really excited about it, where our seltzer brand is going to go.
All right, guys, that's it for beer time. We're going to get this AC back on because it's about 100 degrees. Ryan, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for coming in.
Adam, good to see you again in person this time.
Meet you in person.
We can't wait to see what Bentwater has in store. And cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.